Hey there YouTube, thanks for coming to another video here on Variety and Errors, your source for currency news and bill searching. In this video, a really fun time to be had as we talk about valuable Roosevelt dimes that can be found right in your pocket change. So these aren't going to be talking about seated liberties or mercury dimes or any of those ones that are up there in the hundreds of thousands range, minus one that is a Roosevelt dime that is worth quite a bit of money. But all these can be found in circulation, so I think it's a very useful list. First off, Roosevelt dimes, they hit the scene in 1946, so right in the heat of World War II. Now, like many other denominations of coinage in the U.S., from 1946 for the Roosevelt dime until 64, they contained a high silver content with 90% silver. So 90% silver, 10% copper. After 1964, the composition of the coins was changed, so 1965 to present Roosevelt dimes are going to contain 75% copper and 25% nickel. So if you find coins, just to touch on before we get to the list of actual coins, just like our list of quarters as well as valuable nickels to come across, anything before 1965 is going to contain a high melt value of silver, running typically around $2.80. Nowadays, 1965 to current Roosevelt dimes only have about a 2 or 3 cent melt value, so below the face value of 10 cents. The thing about Roosevelt dimes, too, is these little guys seem to be the kind of forgotten coin. I know a lot of people that on here collect mercury dimes, which is awesome. I have a lot of those as well. But you know, there's lots of Roosevelt dimes you can come across that are worth quite a few bucks. So let's start this list off. Well, let's start it off with the most creme de la creme find for Roosevelt dimes, and that's probably the most nationally/internationally recognized Roosevelt dime, which is the 1982 Error dime, which is the 1982 P Roosevelt dime, which is an error where it's missing the mint mark of P. It is considered the most valuable Roosevelt dime ever to be released in circulation. They believe that about 15,000 of these have escaped into circulation, and values for these dimes can sometimes exceed around $400 or $500 if you find almost mint condition. Another really good one to look for is a 1964 D. This recognized mint error dime exhibits double striking, so it's a double die, and the 64D is a double die reverse error. These are generally, I've seen them go for 50 or 60 bucks, but they generally are around 40, but a really good dime to come across. There's also lots of Roosevelt dime proof errors to find. As far as individual dimes to look for, a good one would be the 1952 S, which is a semi-key date. Values for these, they range from about melt value of $3 to around $25 or $30. Another semi-key date is the 1951 S. Values for this are a little bit above melt at about $4, and they run to about $40 for this coin, but that would be in mint state condition. Similarly, another semi-key date, which values range from about $30 to about $50, is the 1949 Roosevelt dime. There's also a 1949 S. This particular mintage is considered to be the only true key date Roosevelt dime. Now these value at around $10 if it's in poor condition, but I've seen them on upwards of $200 to $250. A few other key ones that you'd want to look for as well would be the 1968 S. A few 1968 Roosevelt proof dimes produced at the San Francisco Mint were missing their mint mark of S. So depending on the condition of the coin, there are some, of course, that have been all the way up to like $15,000, but in most cases you're still going to command $300 to $600 for this coin. And that's something that's post that change in 1964. The 1970 S, again, is missing a mint mark. These San Francisco minted dimes can reach values of around $300 to $500. 1975 S Roosevelt dimes, keeping with this same trend, some of them from the 75 proof dimes were also missing the S mint mark. And these values are really unknown. I've seen a few that go for almost a couple $1,000s, but there's not really any. There's only, I think, 2 examples of the coin, so there's not a lot of comparative value across the market for this 1975 S that's, well, missing the mint mark. Lastly on our list is going to be the 1983 S. It's another missing mint mark year. These proof dimes have been seen to command around $1,000, but that would be in really good condition, but usually sit around $400 or $500. Aside from that, every year there's new miscellaneous dime errors, so you could be the next person to come across something with a range of errors that has escaped the mint. Multiple things to keep an eye out for. As you know, we have a really avid list of error coins and what to look for on VarietyErrors.com, but keep an eye out for dimes with clip planchets, which is caused by a misfeed in the minting process. A blank planchet. These are unique and escape the mint without ever getting struck with a design on the dime. And then off-center strikes where it's simply sitting as such, off-center from the center of the coin. All of these can be something that realizes exponential value depending on how crazy the error is. But you'd be looking at easily $30 to $100 for any of these, and then some, like the off-center strike, depending on the severity of the off-center strike, have been seen to go for anywhere from $10 to $40. 2 more small ones to look for is a broadstruck or a missing clad layer. Broadstruck Roosevelt dimes exhibit a broadstruck error and will always have a smooth rim. This error is caused when the collar die fails during striking. A missing clad layer occurs during the minting process. A few dime planchets will be produced that contain a missing nickel clad layer. These dimes expose the copper core on either the obverse or the reverse of the coin and will appear to be copper in tone as opposed to a silvery nickel tone. Values of these coins can top out around $20 to $40. So while most of the value contained in Roosevelt dime collections lies with either error varieties or in coins previous to 1965 for their melt value, there is tons of dimes to come across. Like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, I love mercury dimes. I know a lot of you guys do too. There's multiple other versions of dimes throughout the history of American coinage. But let me know what you think about not only this video, but what you've come across in your bill and coin searches. And hey, if you have a wonderful, wonderful dime collection, shoot me an email, and I will be glad to feature it on the website. I love sharing other people's collections if they'd like me to. But otherwise, I will catch you in the next video. Thank you so much for subscribing to Variety and Errors, and have an awesome day. See you later.